What is going on, my fellow peeps of YouTube? This is Michael from Team Peeperibo here with Forbes, the sous chef of sous ships. How's it going, Mr.
Hello. I'm doing okay. I exist.
All right, there we go. Hey, man, I'd say you're doing pretty good right now, but we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, we're back. We're we're gonna start making some more content again, and we just had some stuff going on. Took a little bit of a break, and now we kind of have a better idea of kind of what we're planning on doing. So we're gonna start things off with kind of a little bit of a holiday special. So we're gonna just talk about some stuff, some Yu-Gi-Oh news, some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, reflect on the year, and just have ourselves a good time. How do you think about that? What are your thoughts, Forbes?
Sounds good to me. I mean, it is the end of the year. It's the holiday season. No better time than now.
All right, and hey, there's no better time to give than right now, right? So, all right, let's go ahead and just hop right in, honestly. So, in case you
give everyone some bad takes.
Oh, absolutely. That's all we give. That's all we give around here. Come on, you can't expect anything less from us, right? So, let's go. Yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right in though. We got a new Yu-Gi-Oh ban list. I mean, unless you're living under a rock, I'm pretty sure just about everybody knows what's going on with that. I don't know about you, but first when I saw this list, I thought it was fake. But
I think everyone thought it was for Master Duel. Everyone thought it was for Master Duel.
Dude, this was a custom. This was I know I've talked about a custom list in the past, but no, this is truly a custom list. It's almost everything that you like. Well, specifically, I feel like it's almost everything that Joshua Schmidt would have asked for, basically. But honestly, there were so many good hits on this ban list. It's crazy. So, I mean, I don't know. Let's go ahead and start with the bans. We got the two Millers from the the Shizu cards or the Exchange of Spirit cards. And then we had Circular and Isolde. All, in my opinion, very big hits. Though Circular, I don't feel was really, at least not to my knowledge, it wasn't really doing a ton right now. It is still a very strong card. I mean, one of my pet decks is literally Cybers. The card is so incredible. It's a 1-card starter. It sends a monster from your deck to the grave for cost, which is almost impossible to basically stop, because even if you were to negate it, you still got your monster to the grave. It searches for further extension and interruption. Card's nuts, But definitely with the Shizu Millers, that one was actually shocking. I didn't think they would actually go that far right off the bat.
It was a little unexpected too, because they just revealed new support that would have really benefited from them. And a little backwards on Circular, that felt kind of like a misfire. Not even a misfire. It's they just happened to be in the same bunch, and Konami shot him as well.
Oh yeah.
Out of everything else, we're just gonna shoot in the crowd and we're just gonna hit this thing too.
Yeah.
There's your ban.
Hey, there you go. Now y'all can stop complaining.
Sold though was 100% necessary at some point.
Yeah.
Especially now that there's cards like Angelica's Ring that just basically make the whole point of board breakers not work.
Yeah, I mean, because
I was bound to happen.
Yeah, to kind of top off on the Isolde ban, other than Infernoble, basically running it for their engine, because it's a Noble Knight card. It's basically it absolutely supports that deck 100%. In all reality, they're any Link 2, or any Link 2 or lower that specifically that basically summons a monster from the deck is absolutely insane. That's always a crazy thing. And on top of that, at least for me, most people are only really look at it too as just you are summoning a monster for free from the deck, but you're also thinning out the deck of basically cards from your deck by sending equip spells for the cost as well. You also are able to search for follow-up by on its summon effect, when you're just able to add any warrior from your deck to your hand. It's crazy. The card is, honestly, it's been crazy forever. We all remember Goki Link format. I'm pretty sure, if you've been playing long enough to have played in Goki Link format, I'm pretty sure we all kind of know how that turned out. So it was
I love starting turn with one card in hand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. With Isolde, it's a really cool card. I mean, I've played it in multiple decks, but I mean, it makes sense. The ban was inevitable. It was eventually gonna, it was good with how the game is progressing. It was probably eventually gonna catch up to that card at some point.
I mean, Isolde is just another symptom of, I think it was dual power that it came out.
I believe so. I mean,
like
in the OCG,
one.
I think it was like in the OCG they got it in the Link Vrains pack.
Yeah. Well, we could just say all the Link 2s that came in the Link Vrains pack inevitably got hit because they all limit future card design in some way. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Hulk limits future tuner design, even though I still think Hulk was somewhat okay to a degree because there's no world you should be able to synchro summon from deck.
Verde Anaconda.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the moment they created Verte, they cannot have made fuse from deck effects, but because there's fuse from deck effects, Verte cannot exist. Then you now have Isolde getting hit. Dagda didn't directly get hit. Instead, the card that it enabled got hit. Union Carrier got hit.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Union Carrier. Oh, man.
A lot of these cards also sort of have that funny issue of Konami kind of just not printing one specific line of text on them. Like Hulk, for example, should say you can only synchro summon for the rest of the turn. Like Verte, honestly, should just lock you immediately. Like Verte in general is kind of like a mistake already just by itself.
I think the biggest issue is not even just like locking people. The biggest issue I feel like, and I'm at least from what I have. Like what I've heard from other players, other people, like other Yugi tubers, is for the fact that like a lot of those cards, like Verde, Hulk, Isolde, they were generic. Like these cards are like essentially very generic cards. It's like they were so easy to get into, and like just about any deck. Like even if it had to run like some sort of small engine, it would be able to access these cards.
Yeah,
and it would open so many windows to so many different.
Well, I think Union Carrier is the one specific one from that set where I say it really just needed one extra word in its effect, and it's equip one Union monster to an appropriate target instead of just any monster. That's the whole reason why Union Carrier became such a debauched card. Is that I'm just going to equip Buster Whelp, and now you don't play the game.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so like it's just. Link Vrains just created all these incredible cards for just rogue and meta decks and just be able to create more deck building diversity, but as a result, they ended up lending themselves to very degenerate strategies or strategies that have very little way to play against. And as a result, they just kind of have to go for game health and future, like the future of the game.
No, absolutely. I mean, well, on top of that, too, I mean, by getting rid of a lot of these older cards, it opens the line. I mean, like, what was it? I think it was... I don't remember if it was Pack or Josh, but like even one of those guys was basically saying like in the future if we got like a new like Noble Knight Link 2 that wasn't that's not as crazy as Isolde, or maybe just as crazy but it's like Noble Knight locked, that would make more sense because then it's specifically set for the deck, and that way it's not super generic where any deck could essentially just have access to this.
Yeah, Konami needs to stop making cards so generic. That's something that I wholeheartedly believe needs to happen for the game to continue.
I love generic.
Oh, generic's fun. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I mean,
at
absolutely.
the same time, we've seen what happens.
I mean, we literally live and breathe on staples. I mean, that's just how the Yu-Gi-Oh game works. All your non-engine is always.
Though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
In a lot of ways, Kelbeck and Agito are the same boat. Like.
Oh yeah. True.
3 mil 5.
Like, I mean, yeah. No.
For game health and graveyard decks in general, those cards eventually have to go. It's the same idea as like Grasshole Screener, where it's like, I play a 60 card deck on purpose, but all the 20 cards that I mill play off the grave.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of situation is when you're making another deck that plays so heavily on the graveyard, and in a way it also feels like Konami's telling the player base, stop playing tier. Deck's dead. We don't want you playing tier anymore. Buy new stuff. It's kind of that, but it's at the same time, it's like, we're making Lightsworn that, yes, is a mill deck, but we want you to play Lightsworn with Lightsworn. We don't want you mixing it with whatever you could just dump in the grave good stuff deck.
Yeah,
and
true.
It's kind of felt like recently Konami's been trying to crack down on good stuff style decks, which is unfortunate in a way, but also feels very like sort of a good step in a sense. Just because we've seen what happens when Yu-Gi-Oh becomes too generic, and it usually turns into those break my board, I have 10 negates on the board kind of formats.
Yeah, no, it's
Well,
true.
recently we have these formats where, sure, all the competitive people are going to complain that it's super diverse because every deck can kind of play. Sure, they can't play well. They can play because it's not, you have to play through 10, 20 negates. You're playing through pops, effect interruptions, like negation, like just on-field negations, not omni negations. Like, you have to deal with back row. I hate Labyrinth, but still, it's back row is fine. You have to deal with like rescue ace with like a whole bunch of different type of interactions. It's like it's an interaction-based format, which by itself usually lends to having more playable decks. Because now you're not sitting on something where it's like, oh, I just can't play because everything I do says it completely gets stopped. It's more, oh, I can play, but I have to find my way around it.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. Where, so it's just sort of like, it's a good step, I think. People are obviously going to disagree, but for the most part, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! In the diversity state, like, as diverse as it is now, sure, it's too diverse, but at the same time, it's like, this is the best time for new players to get into the game, and this is a good sign. Because
I absolutely agree
more
with
players
that.
playing what they want.
I absolutely agree with that. Because I think this is
$80 and $100.
Like, honestly, this upcoming format, in my opinion, is honestly I think it's a very good format for not only new players, but I mean, with regards to just how the format is, it seems it's a step in the right direction. Absolutely. Like,
you're going to start seeing more people saying, oh, this is my first big event because the deck I like playing is now sort of playable.
Right.
It's not like, oh, I don't want to go to these big events because I'm just going to see these top tier decks that people spend like $500 on versus me who can't afford to spend $500 on a deck.
True.
And then, yeah.
But
all right, back on topic.
So
we're limited.
onto the limits. We got
holy cow. Harpor is finally back.
I know, right? Orchest Harpor is finally back.
After years of people asking of Harpor to 1, it is back, and it will probably do nothing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the only deck I can kind of see is like that is what the Horus Bestial Orchest deck that some people have messed around with. It definitely makes that deck stronger, which is cool. But what if it'll actually make an impact in the format is yet to be seen. But we'll I mean, it'll be. But it's cool that we finally got the card. So I mean, it's again step in the right direction. Speaking of Redux, Dragon Ruler of Boulders. Best way I've heard people describe it: bad Vernisylph card. I'm fine with this.
Yeah, it's a bad Vernisylph that doesn't lock you. So the best part of it is that it doesn't lock you into Earth Effect activations, which is great.
Well, also on top of that too, I mean, since they did, I think they are releasing the new Dragon Ruler like Xyz monster. I mean,
they are.
I believe so. Yeah, from what I understand. But the new like blaster one, I believe it was. They announced it like a long time ago. But yeah, so
no, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Supreme Ruler of Dragons.
Correct. Yeah, so that makes sense. Like why they would bring that more Dragon Rulers back, anyways. Of course, the scariest one, and I agree with this, is absolutely Tidal. I mean, it's literally just Foolish Burial. So
this card has buns.
Well, they still want to support it, and you know,
it's only really good for Fire King. So I mean,
yeah. Rescue. So I'll go ahead and just run through the limits real quick, and then we'll discuss them because there was a lot of limits on this one. There was a lot of hits. So we have on top of Redux we have or on top of Redux and Harpor we have Rescue Ace Airlifter, Unchained Soul of Sharvara, Sunavalin Dryas, Sunvine Healer, Ib the World Chalice Justicer, Snatch Steal, Goes in Match, Rivalry of Warlords, and there can only be one. That's a lot of cards, man.
I'm gonna say right now, good riddance to the Floodgates.
These ones specifically, yes.
So my only issue with them putting them to 1 is that now it just makes them even sackier than usual if you are running them, which is gonna suck because you assume they have nothing and they just flip a Gozen on you. Oh, they got the 1 of Gozen.
But also, you have to understand, though, the good thing is, at least in my opinion, is if people are running this, and if you are running sort of like cards that can remove it, for example, you know, a Cosmic Cyclone, or
Lightning Storm, RPs, that kind of thing.
yes, like if you have outs to the card, then at least yeah, exactly. Once it's gone, it's gone. Like that's it. You don't have to worry about a second one coming up. So I mean, honestly, yeah. Though with regards to the floodgates being limited, so like I was saying, once they're gone, they're gone. But I mean, I know one thing that a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players have talked about, not even just like Yu-Gi tubers, like just players in general, is these specific floodgates, specifically being Gozen Rivalry and Tisabu. A lot of people have always said that like they're like I guess like bad players, so to speak, are rewarded for these cards, and it makes it so then if like they have this card and they have control of the game, even against like good players, if the good player just doesn't have the out to it, they just lose, making it a lot less of a skillful type of game.
Yeah, it becomes a do you have the out, which is same thing where I mentioned earlier, break my board formats. Do you have the out?
Exactly. I mean, it's a very similar situation, especially in situations with Tisabu, because a lot of decks, especially
mono.
right now, they're monotype. Like like a prime example, Unchained. They're all themes. So like if you don't have it, you don't have it. So and that's kind of why I'm like
Unchained.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm saying.
Shavara got put to 1.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of Shavara, that's interesting.
So the limits that they hit, 2 meta decks, Unchained and Rescue Ace, it makes sense that they hit those decks. Shavara makes a lot of sense because now Unchained really is not super giga consistent and can't play through everything anymore.
Yes.
Rescue Ace, I'm a little baffled as to why they hit Airlifter versus anything else in the deck.
I honestly, as weird as it may sound with regards to Airlifter, that I felt had to be more of just a consistency hit. But I mean, at the same time, it doesn't really affect too much because they already have so many 1-card starters. It reduces, and that's why it just reduces the number of how many 1-card starters they have, which is fine. It's okay. Like,
it makes their line now that they have to open Wanted or they have to open Hydrant Emergency.
Yeah.
And it just turns into this weird situation. Well, they don't have to open Hydrant. They just need to open Emergency plus name.
Yeah.
But, like, it makes that thing where it's like... Because the line before, if I remember correctly, is you do the Diabellstar stuff, and you summon out the Hydrant. You Hydrant. And what I keep seeing people do is they Hydrant search Lifter, normal summon the Lifter, search the Emergency, activate Emergency, combo off from there. Yeah. But putting the Lifter to 1 doesn't really do much. It just makes it that if you don't open the Wanted line or you don't open Emergency, it's just worse.
Well, because the thing is, if you don't have the Sinful Spoils line, or like the Hydrant, for example, like say you open into like if you
you just need to see Emergency plus name.
But that's also why I'm saying but at that point it becomes a 2-card combo. It's no longer a 1-card because the thing is you can just
1.5
because technically, well, kind of, sort of, yes, but I guess I see your point.
0.5 because you're not looking for an exact name. You're looking for
you're not looking for Turbulence. I'll tell you that. That's why I'm saying it's technically a 2-card combo.
Well, if you're running 2 Turbulence, if
the only name you're opening up is Turbulence, you got a problem.
That's a deck building issue.
Yeah, but I mean, with regards to the Airlifter, like I said, I understand. I actually am fine with this hit because with it being at 1, it still enables you to go for combo.
Yeah.
But with regards to the Airlifter, though, a big reason why it's because the thing is, Airlifter essentially by itself was a kind of sort of like a 1-card combo because you just go Airlifter, search Emergency, go Emergency into Hydrant. That's not going to be as consistent anymore because you won't have it.
Yeah.
So, because you won't have as many copies, and so it's great because, as we were saying with Emergency, it's technically, it's a 1.5 card combo, or, essentially 2-card combo. So, it's, that ends up being not as consistent because now they have to basically have 2 out of the 3 cards in their opening hand basically get them into combo. I mean, which essentially is the same thing if you think about the Diabellstar combo. It's a 1.5 combo as well because you still have to send something to summon the Witch, and then to set the original Sinful Spoils. So it makes it so then the deck, it can't just play through everything either. It is now a bit more limited, similar to the Shavara hit.
Yeah.
So So
It's
yeah.
overall just consistency hits, which makes a lot of sense. I'm just surprised I went with that one. But anyway, back on it. Sun Avalon. They just are really tired of seeing
Yeah, I guess.
Rika Sun Avalon top.
Shout outs
That really
to
is just
Sensei Jess for this one.
it's just okay, Jess. EU doesn't know. It's just people don't know how to play into Rika Sun Avalon. That's enough. You don't get to play anymore.
Right. It's
That's just what it was.
yeah, basically like it makes
Eve, the World Chalice Justicar. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's all good. I was just gonna add on to the Sun Avalon hits, but yeah, basically like, I mean, you essentially, because like it just sucks because like you technically needed 2 of each for like the full original combo. Granted, I'm sure there is still some sort of combo. It probably just doesn't end on like some stupid crazy amount of interruptions and negations. But I'm sure the deck can probably still play with 1 of each. It's not going to end up being as crazy and as powerful.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people. Well. Yeah, because I know a lot of people were definitely on, like, oh, they should have hit Jasmine. But the thing is, the best part about Jasmine is that the fact that you actually end with the Jasmine, you utilize 2 Dryas and 2 healers to basically get the full amount of advantage off of the Jasmine. So with only 1 of each of those now, I think it will play a bit differently. And so Jasmine, I mean, I could be totally wrong, and Jasmine might end up being still a crazy card for the deck. Because don't get me wrong, it's not a hard once per turn. A card is still nuts.
It's not. The card's crazy.
Yeah, card is it is a crazy card for plants, but I think it'll still be okay, honestly. I think the deck is still playable, but I just don't think it's at the power level that it once was.
None of these hits were made to really kill a deck, except Tier, honestly. They just are tired of seeing it. But basically every other hit that we've seen so far and we've addressed so far have been really either to bring a deck's power level down to make it more... Like, obviously people are going to complain because now the format's even blown even wider open now. There's even less, like, strong decks. Like, overwhelmingly strong decks that we see so far. But at the same time, there's so much stuff being reintroduced back into the format that we're going to see a lot of changes. Ib, I don't think it will really do all that much. All things considering. Well, not that it won't do anything. It'll be a good card, just not as broken, bonkers, crazy that everyone thinks it will be.
I mean, honestly, I only believe it'll probably just be used in like what, Dragon Link, maybe. Like, I don't know if there's any other decks that
it'll be used in Orcus probably.
That too. I guess it is an Orcus. That is probably an Orcus boost too. But yeah, like, but I mean, it just on top of that though, it really does depend on what any Orcus players decide to actually do, because I mean,
some of the World Chalice cards are kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean they are, but I don't know. I just don't know if it'll really do that much. But I mean, I guess we'll find out. So, but I mean, it's cool to have the card back though. I mean. It's a cool card. So, speaking of cool cards, I've got a cooler one that I think I want to talk about, and that being Snatch Steal. Like, oh man, like we're just opening Pandora's box again, I see. But I mean, I don't know if it's as crazy as it used to be when they brought it back like a few years back.
I think that card will do as much as everyone's freaking out about it. The only deck I really see it being good in is Makonko, because that's the only deck that makes it a non-targeting effect.
Yeah.
Every other case it will target, and there's more and more cards out there that just can't be targeted by card effects.
Yeah, I mean,
also the fact that it remains face up is kind of a big deal as well. There's a lot of interaction with cards that remain face up.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. With regards to Snatch Steal, like, I think the scariest part about Snatch Steal is just the fact that it can potentially take something just like permanently. So they don't have it. If they don't have like an immediate out to that, it can become a potential issue at some point. But I mean, honestly, we already have like what, Change of Heart, and Change of Heart is actually so much more broken than Snatch Steal in my opinion.
And no one's playing it.
Yeah, I really don't think like Snatch Steal is going to be such a huge differential factor. It'll probably be something that people are going to be potentially side decking. You know, it is a very strong going second card to just take control of something. It can force certain activations just because of how strong of a card it is. But I also agree that I think of all decks that could probably utilize it the best, it would probably be like Makonko. So
Yeah, and there's technically a better card that also came off the ban list for the most general use that does exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
We
I
can talk
mean,
about that in a bit.
yeah. But yeah. I mean, like, yeah. We'll get. I think it's better if we just get into it further down. So why don't we just go ahead and get to the semi limits then? So
Anchor tops. Jesus Christ.
It's actually one I wanted to talk about because speaking of those floodgates, I wanted to mention it at the floodgates, but I wanted to talk about Pank first. But yeah, so Pank being at 2 is incredible. I think that's great. I absolutely love Pank. Card is not only super strong, it is really great. It's and we have 3 Fenrir now, and with 2 Panks, like.
Yeah, I just think up.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Fenrir is more of a reactive card, where I feel Pank is more proactive, for the fact that
definitely
it could just. I mean, it's like almost impossible to hit Pank. It's so hard to stop Pank. It's like once it hits the board, it is such a honestly, just having it on board is such a powerful card because just
it's bonkers.
Like,
you
it's
can literally
a huge
Fenrir
body.
Summon Pank if you're going second.
Oh yeah, it's like like, dude, you just have a huge body too though, because it can run over so many cards. Like, just imagine just dropping Pank, running over an IP, then using it to pop another card, or not IP, SP. Like,
yeah.
it is such a powerful card. I think 2 is really great to start at, but I mean, and even with regards to it, it's so good because you can just use it as like a board breaker, because it's like it's like removal for just about every deck. With regards to even like floodgate cards like back row, it's like with regards to Gozen, Tisabu, Rivalry, it can out those cards like almost immediately on activation, and so it's like it solves those problems. It's great. If you don't need it for back row, then you can use it as a removal tool for maybe something you're having trouble getting over. It's just overall an incredible card. I'm so happy that it's at 2 because like it's been at 1 for so long.
I'm just surprised they brought it back without hitting Fenrir in any regard. Like,
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if they put Fenrir at 2 just to put Pank at 2, but they didn't hit Fenrir at all, which is like, oh, okay. I mean, that's just more board breaking, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I personally have no issues with it, but I think it'll be fine overall. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a huge issue. Terratop,
yeah.
I'm excited for it.
I mean, yeah, I've heard some people are excited.
It won't do much.
I don't know.
I think it won't do a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll do a whole lot.
Good rank 3s.
Yeah, I mean, other than it being like link fodder or potentially like sync fodder, I don't really see it being super crazy either.
Yeah, because the main thing it was abused for was for MX Saber Invoker.
Yeah,
and that was the main thing that like everyone was using it for. Like, personally, I'm happy about it because it lets me use Armor Torpedo, but like,
there you go.
The main thing I could see it being used for is like that Acid Golem lock where you switch control of it with Geonator.
Yeah.
But like, there's no other like rank 3. And it's probably mostly brought back for Goblin Riders, something I've noticed, because Goblin Riders really need a level 3 on board. So being able to just get a free body and then overlay immediately, that's kind of nice for them.
True. I mean, looking in that regard, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, Terratop, I mean, it is also a card I just feel like it's been kind of long overdue. It's kind of similar to like Harpor, in my opinion. It's just been a long overdue card.
Gold Pride will appreciate it too, because being immediately able to go into Chariot Carry without burning yourself first is kind of nice as well.
Very true.
For the most part, yeah, I don't think Terratop will make a giant splash, just because there's no broken card that's a rank 3 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I feel like that's one of those, it's just one of those hits where it's just like, it's just taking something off the list, slowly just moving stuff off the list, and I'm totally for it. So, but Pearly Sleepy Memory, unfortunately, is headed in the opposite direction by going to 2. But it basically just doesn't guarantee you're always going to have Sleepy now.
Yeah, you're not going to draw 6 every turn. You're only going to draw 4. Well, draw 12 turns into draw 8, which is not great, but it's still bearable.
Yeah. So, but
I'm thinking of the right card. Yeah, it is right.
Yeah, no, it's with regards to Sleepy Memory, like, it is, I guess, technically a consistency hit, so to speak, to Pearly.
Every hit to the spell is a consistency hit, but this is like a consistency hit in the sense that it's like, oh, now it's you pass turn, you have a giant towers. you're not immediately drawing like 12 extra names that like 6 of could be a hand trap. No, now you're only going to draw 8, which is still a lot of cards, don't get me wrong.
I mean, but even with regards to that, like it's
Yeah, the high roll is 8.
I mean, even yeah, but like I said, even with regards to that, like with Sleepy Memory, it's like by putting it to 2, that's more of like a way for them to combat the deck with like the certain consistencies with regards to like My Friend Pearly.
Yeah,
because now that exactly because I mean, and now probably like the go-to first line if you don't already have either Sleepy Memory or the Delicious Memory is you're probably just going to reveal those 3, the 2 Sleepies and the 1 Delicious, and then you're just going to get one of those. And you're just going to get one of those, and then it'll open up different lines depending on what you get.
Yeah,
you know. But I mean, they still have 3 cats of the white cat. They're fine, you know. They can use that.
Chilling.
Yeah, like they still have a lot of a good extender still. So I think the deck should be fine. But
yeah, and Lil Norixie still kind of fixes a lot of the issues. Like you just grab the trap with it now, so they're chilling. Honestly, people crying about it are just not happy with the fact that they now have a chance to not draw 6.
Yeah, so I mean, I mean, it's drawing cards is cool, but drawing too many cards it's can be kind of crazy sometimes. So
yeah,
but let's go ahead and just get onto the unlimits. This section, in my opinion, is kind of fun. So
Infernity Archfiend to 3.
Honestly, I actually have mentioned this to multiple friends even before this ban list came out. Like this was a hit that should have come back. Like Infernity was one of those decks that it basically was what modern Yu-Gi-Oh is now. It just
back then.
Yes, when it originally was strong, came out. It was basically what combo decks do nowadays. It's just you have no hand. But every combo deck that does basically everything that Infernity does can keep their hand still. So I just really don't think Infernity Archfiend is going to really make that much of a huge impact. Yeah, I guess being able to search for 3 barriers is kind of cracked, but or like multiple Infernity breaks too, just multiple interruptions and stuff, Yeah, that can be kind of crazy. I'm sure somebody will figure something out, but man, like if something happens and either you get interrupted or like for example, like if you only have like
hit with
one
a
barrier,
rock.
yeah, like exactly nib, like because the thing is with the barriers they do have to control an Infernity in face of attack. So if they don't control a face up Infernity in attack position, I mean, man, you're hosed. Like I think the deck.
They got nothing.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, I know a big with regards to when Infernity was at its peak, in a more recent time period, was when we had Lavalval Chain at I believe it was at 3, and so Lavalval Chain is what really kind of took that deck and like pushed it above its limits. So we still don't have that. So I don't know if
I don't think we'll ever have that. That card's too good.
that card is crazy.
That card's way too strong.
Right. It's one of those cards. It'll just stand the test of time. Absolutely. But I don't know if
Unicorn.
Yeah, but I don't know if Archfiend will. But yes, Bacastia Unicorn. I'm fine. Arise Heart Spanned.
Yeah, Arise Heart's gone. The deck's just there.
The
Mind Control.
There. Yeah. I was gonna say it's just consistent. Like Unicorn is just a consistency thing for sure.
Yeah.
Mind Control. Yeah, that was one of the things we're gonna talk about, right? Like we have 3 Mind Control now. We have Snatch Steal, Change of Heart, 3 triple Tactics talent. Like.
Yeah. Because the thing with
the
Mind Control. Yeah.
Honestly,
I don't know. I think Mind Control's better than Snatch Steal in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah,
because you're usually going to steal something and immediately link it away.
Either link, seize, fuse, whatever. And
you don't risk your opponent just chaining like Cosmic Cyclone for some reason when you Snatch Steal, and then you just lose the Snatch Steal for nothing, and you're down a card.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like.
But
I mean, like we've already had like the biggest thing for me too, though, is like we already have had multiple cards. Like, because if you also think about it, like Thrust gets into these other cards that take control of monsters, and like even that has had going second option has already been kind of like a fairly minimal impact. So, I mean, it was strong during cash format. Like we're not in cash format anymore, so. I don't know. I really think kudos to Konami, though, because I will say with a lot of cards on this list, they absolutely were pushing and kind of trying to press people to be like, hey, going second isn't as bad as it might seem anymore, which is cool.
Well, I mean, I've always played going second, right? So
yeah.
It's not the worst thing on the planet. It is something you can deal with. There is pain, obviously, especially with all these back row decks. But for the most part, going second is still fully viable, and it is something that people, I feel like, don't give enough of a chance.
No, for sure.
Because they want to set up the big board and just not want to deal with stuff, which I get. Having to play through like 10 interruptions, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 interruptions is incredibly tiring.
Yeah. But moving right along, Pot of Desires 3, it was at 2. It's fine.
It didn't matter.
I honestly have nothing else to say about that card, honestly.
Spellbook of Judgment, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
Spellbook.
like
Maybe
scariest.
Play spellbooks.
Well, I mean, okay. The only thing that I kind of have considered with regards to spellbooks, or at least Spellbook of Judgment specifically, is if there's any deck that's able to kind of like be cheeky enough to potentially put up like a Jowgen lock and actually manage and protect it. Because depending on what they can establish before they hit the Jowgen on board, that can potentially be scary. But I mean, we have a lot of cards that out this now. I don't think
something just came to mind.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's going to do it. I just don't really.
I
think
don't
it's
have to
gonna
worry.
do it.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about Sky Striker abusing that because they have to have nothing in their main monster zone. So
yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm like, I mean, it would just have to be some sort of spellcaster deck that could potentially abuse it. I mean,
there's probably a few kicking around. It exists.
Yeah, of course.
Starter to 3. I'm tired of seeing Sprite. It's like my worst.
Well, I mean, to be fair, still without Elf, Sprite really isn't like insane. I mean, deck isn't even like performing currently right now, not as much as it used to. So honestly, starter to 3 is fine.
It's fine. I just complain about it because it's my worst matchup, honestly, nowadays when I test. So
fair enough.
Upstart to 3 is not going to do anything either. Like Upstart to 3 is
it's not
going to do anything.
I love the fact,
but it does do something.
I love the fact that we can actually now go back to 37 card main decks. I love this.
Yeah, but your 37 card main deck turns into a 38, 39 card main deck when your opponent draws you after you upstart. And you just give them LP for free.
Yeah, no, I mean, because during the time period when they did hit Upstart, Droll wasn't exactly the most popular card, so definitely a difference in like how the game has evolved. But on top of that, I just feel like even still, like Upstart's cool, but I think Prospy's still better. Like,
yeah, I think Upstart will only really be used for Striker. For the most part.
Or any sort of like degenerate sort of strategy. I mean, or any type of deck, like, because the only other deck I can also consider Upstart being good in is any sort of like Runic variant, because you're most likely not running any of the pots either. You're going to usually just use that to dig for more Runic spells.
Yeah, so. Find more names for your opponent to not like their life.
Correct, yeah. So, I mean, like, in that regard as well, like, probably Runic decks, Sky Striker decks probably are going to be the ones who I can see utilizing Upstart, but I mean,
more minimal combo decks also could possibly use it, but for the most part, it's like,
So,
I don't think it'll do too much.
But yeah, man, a whole whopping list. Did you know? Fun fact. Did you know that there was a total of 25 hits on this ban list, and some people have been theorizing that it's because of the 25th anniversary?
Wait, is there actually 25?
Yeah, there is. There's 25 hits on this ban list. It's kind of funny.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh boy,
9,
here we go
10,
counting.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Holy shit, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
19, 20, 21, 22.
There's 25 hits for the 25th anniversary. Good job, Konami. Whoever they hired to do this ban list, man, this guy should keep his job.
So my theory that Circular was just unfortunate collateral damage could be very true. They're like, oh, we need a 25th card. Oh, let's just shoot Circular.
Just hit Circular. This card seems to be successful.
Let's just take Circular out back and blow his knees out.
I got some more news we could talk about though. So the Egyptian God card announcement, the big drop that they did. They hyped this thing up so much, and this is what we got.
Oh man, I need to look at this again. Every time I just can't stop laughing.
Don't get me wrong. Okay, like with regards to this product, I mean, I would like at least say with regards to the price, they kind of learned They didn't make it, a $1,300.
$1,000.
Yeah, like a $1,300 platinum dark magician that nobody wanted, right? Like this is only $400. And did you also know about the Blackluster Soldier comic art raffle that if you buy this, you potentially could get a Blackluster Soldier as well.
That was honestly kind of cool, but
yeah,
$400 for a chance.
You are okay. Think about it like this, right? You're literally purchasing a $400 raffle ticket.
Yeah, that's also filled with chunks of metal that you can't really do anything with.
And don't get me wrong, with regards to this product, like to people who are like hardcore fans of Yu-Gi-Oh and maybe like they're manga fans. I mean, most people. I don't know about you, but like for me, like the Egyptian gods, I know them from the anime. I know the anime art. I know the anime style. All that. I don't really. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know this artwork, but I mean, I'm sure there's an audience that this appeals to, and that's cool. But it's not for me. It's not for the probably average Yu-Gi-Oh player.
The thing with the manga is usually for that era of Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, not era. What's the word? That season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Gen 1, Duel Monsters. The manga was Yu-Gi-Oh! R, if I remember correctly, and not a lot of people read that as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga only really picked up for GX, and the reason why is because the GX manga was a completely different story from the anime. R was similar vein, but the issue was all the original characters were there, which isn't really an issue until you read the plot. And the thing is, Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga plots are nothing new with them being all... Arc V's was something. But
oh my god, don't even get me started on Arc V, Forbes. Do not. I hate to break it to all you Yu-Gi-Oh fans, but yeah, Arc V was not exactly my most favorite, so.
Oh no, but if I remember correctly, Yu-Gi-Oh! R's entire plot, so people who are interested in that storyline, cover your ears, there will be spoilers. If I remember correctly, was Pegasus' student, so Pegasus dies from something or another, I don't remember correctly. His student tries to bring him back, but his idea for some reason is to put Pegasus' soul inside Teia's body.
Okay, fun.
I don't remember if that was the entire plot or just a major point of the plot, because I remember reading it and that plot point stuck out to me for so long. And I was just like... You couldn't put him in like Tristan's body or Joey's body or Yugi's body.
Nope, sorry, bro.
Three spirits in one body. No, Teia's body.
Nah, bro. It's
so you want Pegasus to come back and just go. Pegasus come back and go.
Dude, hey, man. Pegasus has to be fabulous, okay? And unlike Joey and Tristan, Teiya is definitely probably a bit more graceful and more fabulous than they are. So.
Imagine being Joey.
Oh my god,
Let's see.
But yeah, no. With regards to these cards, I mean,
I'm very wrong. Yu-Gi-Oh! R is a spin-off. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga itself fully follows the original plot, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, but it's just the artwork of the cards are different. And
also, I think the issue also with this product specifically is that art has been used many times for bootleg cards. And that's where everyone knows that artwork from.
Not even that, but like there's so many, like, I mean, I've heard people talk about this and they're just like, bro, these cards just look fake. They don't look like real cards. Like
the artwork looks like the meme image of Darkly Big Rabbi, that legendary monster of darkness.
Yeah, like
it's because again, a lot of the artwork from those bootlegs were taken from manga.
Yeah,
they take it from the manga prints. They take it from like the old Bandai cards that never like. Some of them never made it here because they just went, this sounds weird. Like, it just looks off. I will give them this as a product to commemorate the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Awesome idea.
Yeah.
But as usual, the execution is slightly off.
No, I 100% agree. And also, at least for me too, like, I think I could have lived my entire holiday season not knowing about this drop. Like, I would have rather had something completely different. Like, maybe
this should have been something they released during the 250th YCS. They shouldn't have waited this long.
I mean, I understand we're still kind of going through the 25th anniversary, because I think, like, the 25th anniversary is supposed to end, like, after Phantom Nightmare, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but still, it's like the same idea. It's like, you should have announced this much, much sooner.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't, man. They had to try and sell them platinum dark magicians for $1,300 that nobody wanted.
Yeah, I keep seeing ads for that, and I look at it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, not today.
I mean, yeah. I mean, with regard, like, this is unfortunately just another one of those products with regards to like the Yu-Gi-Oh community of people who play the modern game, or even if they're even just who play like Time Wizard formats. It's just, unless you're like a hardcore collector, like this is just not a product for you. I just feel like
It's so weird though, right? Because I when you mentioned this, I just looked up like the history of the products that they're releasing for the 25th anniversary, and so we started essentially with the pot collection, which is it's an okay product. Then we got model kits for BLS made. We got the Blue Eyes. No, Blue Eyes came out before. We got Exodia. We got a bunch of other ones announced. And we have Zeus announced, which I'm personally very excited for. Then we got a giant enemy controller like pillow, which was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Which is again a cool product. Like it's not something
granted, a
crazy,
lot of these
but
products are also in the OCG, but
yeah, but you can buy them off like Good Smile Company and stuff like that, right? You can still get them. It's accessible.
yeah.
And then you had the enemy controller replica with buttons that when you press them would make like the noises that Kaiba says when he activates enemy controller.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That's really cool. That was really cool.
And then there's like a few other products that came, and then we hit the Dark Magician product, like the metal Dark Magician that again nobody really.
Even before
wants or
that, we
cares
had
about.
the Platinum Blue Eyes. That one sold like
People
hotcakes.
like that
Yeah,
Blue Eyes,
the
though,
Blue Eyes was
because
good, but it was
people
also
assumed-
$1,000. It was only $1,000, 1,000, and
It
then
was
for
$1,000.
some reason
People
they
were
upped the price
assuming
on the Dark Magician.
They were assuming people weren't going to reprint them, but Konami reprinted them, if I remember correctly. And they kind of resulted in people
I'm
just
honestly
going,
not sure. That I was,
something happened with them that people just went, wait, and then the value just plummeted because people were like buying them to resell. And then Dark Magician came out, and that was like this, like the little wheezy fart when you sit on a whoopee cushion because you're just like, I don't really care. Then this comes out, and it's just like that fart MP3 reverb effect where you're just like, but why? You could have given me
Reverb,
anything
honestly.
else.
Yeah,
you
you
could have
could
done so
have-
many other things.
that's what I'm
You
saying.
could have
like,
made you could have made a new line of dual discs.
no,
People would
honestly,
have bought those like hotcakes.
not even that. You want to know like what they could have also done? Like, you know what? You want to know what would have been like super hype, at least in my opinion. Like if they announced like another like maybe some sort of like special collector's edition, and they gave us like 3 brand new like TCG exclusive cards, similar like what they did with the tins, like
that'd be
with
sick.
Dark Ruler, Nib, and D Shifter. Like those were TCG exclusives to us at that time. They
Oh,
could have
absolutely.
totally done something like that, and people
They
probably
could
would have
kept them.
gone
They
nuts.
could have kept them like aligned with the Egyptian gods.
Oh yeah,
That would have been fine. Just like, oh, this is Egyptian god support, but it's TCG exclusive, and it's to commemorate 25 years.
Yeah,
And
like,
people honestly
there's-
wouldn't really be that upset.
there are so many routes they could have taken to like with regards to a product that, especially you're announcing around the holidays, and I just feel like this was probably not the best to do, unfortunately. Like,
I will say this, Konami, you're obviously not going to watch this. You're not listening because we're not sponsored. We're not paid.
watching.
Oh god, I'm gonna get banned anyway. Konami, you literally could have just made not even Proplica dual discs like the 500 one they made recently. That was just the original Dual City one that you couldn't really wear and couldn't really fit cards. If you made a whole new line of dual discs, one for each season of the anime, and made them fit sleeved like a sleeved deck and sleeved cards, people would have bought those. It didn't matter how much you made them. If you made them like 200, people would still have bought those.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I might have.
If they have the features on it, like it lights up. There's a little like sound effect that like you could, if you're playing the GX one, you could set it so you play Jaden's sound effect when you press a button or stuff like. Or like just if you made those, like good quality, like new age made to fit new card sleeve card dual discs, people would have bought those, and people would
True.
probably have actually like.
They could have just. I was gonna say, shoot. They could have just. They could have just reprinted the Kaiba cases. I mean, I can tell you right now.
Yeah, no.
I bought one.
Those too.
I would have bought another one probably too. Like I would have rather had that. Like that was a cool product too for like with regards to 25th anniversary. I was very happy with that one too. Like
Konami, you had so many choices to go from. You just ended up picking the weirdest ones. Like hell, screw the Platinum Blue Eyes Dark Magician. What about replicas of the Millennium items? You know, the things that literally were pivotal in the anime.
I mean, didn't they just release some too? Like, didn't they just release like the Millennium Rod?
The Merrick Rod?
Yeah,
it was a replica. Let me check something. Millennium.
But yeah, I think that one also was like one of those things that like had voiceovers from like stuff that Merrick would say as well. So I'm like that.
Let me see. So Big Bad Toy Store. No.
Another really.
So it is this one right here. The complete edition, that was $100. It made noises and everything. Yeah. So the thing is, if you made metal replicas of those, it didn't even have to be huge, right? Just like reasonable size. Like it didn't have to be like expensive metal. You could just gold plate it and made that cost $1,000, like a full set of them. People would probably buy that.
No,
because those look cool.
Yeah,
it's just that sort of thing where like, there's so many things you could have done, Konami, and you just chose the weirdest choice.
You flopped. It was, as I would like to call it, big drop question mark. More like big flop. Unfortunately, like it will probably follow suit with the Platinum Dark Magician, and it probably
I
will
really
not sell
hope
well.
that this doesn't discourage Konami from making more merch.
Oh, I mean, I really don't think it should. I just think, like, they definitely just need to, I think, create products that just I feel speak better with their audience. And
absolutely,
like
Konami needs to sort of casuals. They have a brand.
Yeah, like casuals. Don't get me wrong, casuals do serve a very important part to the Yu-Gi-Oh community, but also a lot of casuals are not. If they're already not buying like $100 SP Little Knights, do you think they're gonna spend $400 on a case for the Egyptian gods? Like you know what I mean? Like a lot of casuals are usually kind of more leaning towards like the budget end of Yu-Gi-Oh. They're not hardcore competitive players.
End, or they just go, I want to play anime deck.
Yeah, and even with this product, you still can't. Like these aren't playable cards. So, and that's kind of where it falls. Where I just feel like it's in reality, like if you just I don't know, if I just watching the trailer and the video, like it's a cool concept, but it's just it doesn't speak to me. It's just not something that I as a very big person in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. It does not something that I personally would just be like, I have to have this.
It's like they threw a dart at the target and they were just this close to the bullseye, but it just veered off like at the last minute and nailed the neighbor's dog. Just, right. And now the dog's upset at you and you're just like, oh, I just did all this and got nothing. Kind of like people will still buy it. Don't get me wrong. It is still
that's what I'm saying. There is an audience. It's just not as large because it's not what most majority of the Yu-Gi-Oh player the Yu-Gi-Oh player base. It's not for them.
They're not familiar with it. Basically, it's not
exactly.
They're familiar with.
Yeah, no. I mean, even if they switched even if they did the artwork like from the anime, that probably would have absolutely sold more, 100%. But I mean, it's just
not even the anime. The Shonen Jump alt arts that
even that, yes,
did specifically,
even that would have been fine. But yeah, it's just this is not an artwork that a lot of people are familiar with, unfortunately, and so that's why it's just kind of a weird product for them, and especially with how much they hyped it up, a lot of people were like, "Damn, this was just extremely underwhelming." So
it's just they open the stage and again, tiny little fart MP3 just happens. And you're just like, I don't like it.
Pretty much. So yeah, I think it's all the Yu-Gi-Oh news that I pretty much got at the moment. But in other news, at least for the channel, Forbes is currently streaming on Twitch. So that's kind of exciting. You know, he's been doing some stuff with that. So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, Forbes.
Yeah, so I'm streaming at Twitch at twitch.tv/JankFesserYGO. Not really doing it super consistently. I'm just doing it during some downtime. Mostly just playing Master Duel, so if you want to stop by, roast me, watch me play. I literally only play Suship, even on Master Duel. Just because best of one
might as well
means blind second deck kind of just wins if you have the out. So might as well just play it. But if you want to stop by, say hi, roast me, ask questions, whatever. Feel free to stop by. I'd appreciate any support you guys can get. I can get, honestly. Like, if you guys didn't want to like follow, can't sub yet. I'm not an affiliate, so.
It's all good. Hey, man, everybody
But
starts somewhere.
following is great. Eventually, I might start playing board games, but for now, it's just Master Duel. So hope to see you guys there. And yeah.
And we will put the channel in the description below. So if you guys are interested, you can also basically hit the link, and then you can also go follow there as well. So yeah, no, I mean, with regards to the channel, that's, I think, with regards to news in general, we're close to the end of this video, and we're also close to the end of the year. And I'll have to say, with regards to the channel, not only as a group of friends, but there's a lot has happened. We've done a lot, I feel like, this year, and I know we haven't been super consistent so far this year with regards to posting content, but hey, you know, I definitely plan to try and push out some more content moving forward starting January. I hope to also push out more content with not only Forbes, but the other people that you've seen on the channel as well. Lots of cool stuff going on this year, in this upcoming year. I'm really excited for currently where Yu-Gi-Oh! Is headed, and I think it would be really cool, and I hope all of you can also join us on this journey throughout this next year. And hopefully we can bring you guys content that you will also enjoy. But one of the things I would like to ask you, Mr. Forbes, though, is in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Related sense, what was one of your favorite things from this past year? I just kind of want to reflect, you know, on this past year.
I mean, there's only one answer, and that was YCSLA. Because it's the first time I did that complete fiesta that I'm now somewhat known within the community for doing. With the sushi chef outfit. Like, honestly, I hope to keep doing that. Hopefully I'm able to do it again next year. Again, traveling is difficult nowadays, but I do fully plan to go again, do it again. If you see me at a regional, usually you won't see me playing. I'll usually be judging, and they unfortunately won't let me wear the costume while judging. So, Konami, please. Give me the exception. I'll stick out like a sore thumb so no one will confuse me for anything else.
I mean, fair enough. But yeah, no. But I mean, I definitely agree. The 250th YCS in Los Angeles, that was crazy.
I think that was the first time we traveled as a group also. Like, actually like, traveled.
Yeah.
The Vancouver was the first time you went out of the country, which was also an experience for you.
That was crazy. That was super cool. Honestly, Vancouver was such a fun time. I know I didn't perform super well at the YCS there, but I mean, I had a great time traveling just with my friends, my buddies, you know, just going to different places. I mean, it's not like I haven't been to LA before, but I've never been to LA for like a big event. But I mean, I even traveled to like Los Angeles even recently for a regional. Like, it's just been like traveling for events. I never really thought I would actually enjoy it as much as I did, but I definitely have to say, I definitely enjoyed going out and actually like experiencing new places, new people, really getting in touch with the community for Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly, it was a really cool, all the travels I did this year, super cool experience. I'll definitely have to say, at least for me, I think 250th YCS was very, very cool, huge highlight of my year. But I think Vancouver probably has to be one of my favorite trips, just because, one, as you mentioned, it was my first time out of the country, but two, it was also the first vlog we did for the channel, and honestly, I had so much fun recording all this stuff for that. It was such a great time. And then on top of that, when Vivek also got his top at the YCS in Vancouver too, we ended up doing the the deck profile for him. Yeah, like it was just
on an air mattress.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it was honestly overall, it was just an incredible time. I was like on cloud nine like the whole time that we were pretty much there. It was awesome.
I want to do something like that again.
Absolutely. No, I am absolutely down. I'm hoping that, because I know we talked about it with a couple of the guys already, but I know one thing that they wanted to try and do was do a YCS in Europe at some point, probably within this next year. Oh,
Jesus. Yeah, that would be bonkers, actually.
Yeah, but that would be fun. Because on top of it, there's a lot of, like, I mean, shout out to Joshua Schmidt, man. He's one of my inspirations for, you know, why I still probably play competitively. You know, he's really good player. I mean, he literally just won another YCS. Like, congratulations to him. Shout outs to that, you know. Plus, you know, there is like the European team, Konami team that does events. Like, I love watching their events, for one. And it would just be really cool to be there at, like, you know, experiencing it as it's happening, like to watch the magic happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's for me. Like, it's not even more for the Yu-Gi-Oh. I just want to see what they're doing behind the scenes. You know? Yeah. I just want to see what they're doing behind the scenes. What's going on? You know, I want to see, because I mean, regardless, like, you know, broadcasting these events, it does take a lot of work, and it's a lot of
Absolutely.
effort. You know, it's not something that, you know, it's not super easy to do. So that's actually something I'm looking forward to next year. Anything actually you're looking forward to in this next year, now that we're just about to end 2023?
Not much. Not really. I'm gonna be honest. Right now, taking things as it goes. There's cards coming out that honestly I want to play with, that mess around with Suship. New year, a new copium that Konami gives me more Suship cards.
Right?
Konami, please. I just want more names. Just let me play the deck to, like, doesn't have to be good. Just make it playable and make it funny. That's all I care about.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Alrighty, well, I think it's just about all I got to add to the video. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we sign off?
Oh, I'm good. I think that's everything.
All right, well, as always, thank you all so much for your support. Thank you if you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you guys listening, and I hope you all have a happy holiday season with your loved ones. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to like the video. And as always, this is Michael from Team Peeperivo, and this is Forbes from Team Peeperivo, and we are signing off. We'll see you all next year. Peace.